So I enjoy Sargon of Akkad's videos. I think he's a reasonable, smart, nice person. And I also generally agree with his opinions. However, I do disagree with him on one thing regarding his recent video about the CoxCon 2017 question, where somebody asked this question to Jesse Cox.
Yo, in the back. What up, dude? So, me and a couple friends were having a discussion about this at the bar last night. Are traps gay?
What?
Are traps gay? No, genuine question.
So, that question, are traps gay? At first, I thought it was pretty offensive, and I thought the person was trying to be offensive. And even after learning about the meme now and stuff like that, I still don't understand how that person could not think that would be offensive. And so I think it's reasonable that they asked him to leave. I wasn't there, so I don't know if maybe they asked him to leave or maybe they kicked him out or something. I'm not sure about that. But if someone did that at my convention, my private convention, my private event, and I didn't want that, yeah, I'd ask them to leave. I don't see what the issue about that is, especially when that could be considered kind of offensive. I think that Jesse Cox and Total Biscuit handled that very reasonably, and I think a lot of people on the internet are being unreasonable, because a lot of people on the internet, Sargon of Akkad included, tend to think that Total Biscuit handled it unreasonably, when I just can't agree with that. So, from what I've heard from people saying in comment sections and videos and stuff like that, the main arguments tend to be, first, dude, it's just a joke. How can you get upset at a joke? And the joke's been around for 13 years. I mean, it's not supposed to be offensive. You're only getting offended because you don't know what the joke is. You fucking normie. But, honestly, I mean, this might be a shocker, but most people aren't in the hentai communities or whatever, the anime porn communities. And I'd say even less people are, I mean, even less of the people that enjoy that stuff are part of the communities that make jokes about that kind of stuff. And, like, I've never heard that meme before. And I can guarantee you there's going to be at least a couple other people in that room that didn't know what that meme was. Plus, it's not funny. At least to me. So it's kind of hard to detect that as a meme. Because, you know, memes are usually supposed to be funny. It's a very niche joke. And I think people need to know you can't use a joke everywhere. Because some jokes are offensive. And so some jokes are really funny if they're offensive. But you can't say them to everywhere. Like, you probably shouldn't say that at church or something like that. Like, for instance, me and my mother have a joke that we say every so often to each other, but not really to anybody else. It's, oh wow, I could really go for a nice cold glass of Hitler Did Nothing Wrong. And then my mom will be like, yeah, let's go out and get some Hitler Did Nothing Wrong. I'm not going to say that to anybody else unless we introduce them to the joke, because, shocker, that could be misheard in the wrong way. Because in actuality, that's based upon the thing where Mountain Dew was like, hey, name the new Mountain Dew flavor. And so people were submitting all the worst names ever. And it's funny. But I'm not going to go to a convention and reasonably expect to be able to ask that question, then not get kicked out. You know, that joke can cause trouble in certain places. And I don't see why somebody could reasonably expect to ask that. Although maybe it was an anime. Yeah, I don't know, like, maybe Dodger was on that? Although I didn't see Dodger in that video. Anyway, so I think if you ask a question, it is kind of your fault if somebody else gets offended. Not that you have to do anything about it, but if that person is in any sort of power and asks you to leave, like, for instance, if I go to my grandmother's house, I say an offensive joke, and my grandmother is like, I'd like you to leave right now. Even if I didn't understand why she got offended, I would still be like, okay, see you next Christmas or whatever. If I go to a convention, I'm gonna understand that some people have the choice to be offended, and if they have the power to ask me to leave, like if they own the place or in control, then I'll abide by that and leave. But, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought for that one. So, the second one happens to be, which I'm very surprised that a lot of people have this response, because it seems like a very social justice-y kind of thing to say. It's, excuse me, but trap does not mean a transgender individual. In fact, a trap means somebody who cross-dresses in the intention to trick somebody into having gay sex with them or whatever. And, well, that'd be nice if we only went by dictionary definitions. I'm getting a really strong, like, SJW vibe from that, though. Like, excuse me, but feminism is all about equality. And those people that are cancerous are not part of feminism. Meanwhile, feminism is pretty much a cancer upon the face of the earth now. Because it's all those crazy feminists going, like, protesting something they don't even know what they're protesting at colleges and stuff like that. But, anyway, the issue with that is that people don't use only one definition. And honestly, I think the definition that they're using is actually less common, because I've never really heard that definition of it being not a word for transgender people. Every time I've heard that used, it's been used to mean a transgender person. I've been called a trap many times. And honestly, I kind of brush it off. But for somebody to get upset that I would get annoyed or offended by that, well, that's just retarded. Because, yeah, it's an offensive thing to say. Because, I mean, I think a lot of that is that they don't want to admit that trap can be offensive. And it is used to be offensive. Or maybe they're trying to pretend that they don't know about that. Because, I mean, a lot of people do tend to pretend to be stupid in order to get by an argument. But, I don't know, that just seems very unreasonable. Because people definitely use it to mean transgender people. And so, saying it doesn't mean transgender people, that's good and all. But you don't define what that word means. How people use the word defines what that word means. Only other thing that people were talking about that I can remember is about freedom of speech. There were a couple people that were all like, well, kicking them out for saying that is violating freedom of speech. But it's like, it's a private event. I mean, are you really going to go to somebody's birthday party and start yelling offensive language that that's an inside joke for you, but no one else is part of the inside joke, and then call on free speech whenever they ask you to leave? I mean, that's just being unreasonable. And honestly, I do think that a lot of the shitlords, yeah, that's a good name. A lot of the shitlords tend to kind of be mistargeting something here. I think they're overreacting when normally it's nice to have them around, like Sargon and stuff like that, because they help as like an opposition towards all the stupid feminist bullshit. But for the most part, I think they kind of fucked up now and got upset at the wrong thing. So that's my opinion. I hope I formulated it properly. I don't know. I'd like to hear what issues with my opinion there are. Seems pretty straightforward though. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.